Hey, honey.
Yes, Barry?
Let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I am your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination, and maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're just listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Palapa group of restaurants, and those are the Palapa, the El Dorado restaurant, and at night for dinner, the El Dorado transforms into the Vista Grill. That's the Vista Grill that used to be up on the hill overlooking the city. Well, now it has a new vista. It's right on the beach where you get the same Vista Grill menu, the fantastic Vista Grill service, and it's right there on the beach with a dramatic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors. Of course, at La Palapa, you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's just so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. Today, we have a very special show. And first, though, we're going to look and see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week, the 18th of July, 2017. Well, it's hot and humid in paradise, my friends, but it's kind of funny that tourists have not been discouraged, although there are more Mexican nationals vacationing in Puerto Vallarta this time of year. We still have lots of foreign tourists walking around here during off-season this year, and it looks like the word has gotten out about Puerto Vallarta. And hey, there's lots of great deals on lodging, and there's lots of great deals on airfare out there. You just got to be ready for rain in the evenings and hot, humid days. So, get ready to lounge by the pool or sit on the beach. You can enjoy the tropical delights that await you there in Puerto Vallarta. And, you can just sip on that umbrella drink or finish off a bucket of ice-cold Pacifico while you're munching on some really great fish on a stick or guacamole and chips, I mean, it's paradise, guys. Anyway, one of my listeners, Jeff, he's on the ground right now in Puerto Vallarta. Right now, this is his first July in PV, and he's offered to come on and talk with us about his adventures in paradise in a couple of weeks during the off season. So stay tuned for that. I'm really looking forward to talking with Jeff because he is in the travel industry in the United States. He works up in Colorado. And, well, it should be great to get his take on this time of year in Puerto Vallarta. He's staying on the south side at the Los Arcos Suites, and he'll give us a review on that property, and he'll let us know how he did and what he did in paradise in the July heat. That's going to be interesting, and Jeff seems like he's a really fun guy, so stay tuned for that. He's staying at the Los Arcos Suites. My wife and I, back in 1984, when we first came to Puerto Vallarta, stayed at the Los Arcos Hotel. And we liked it so much we came back and stayed the next time we came, a couple months later. So, anyway, that is going to be interesting to get a report back from Jeff and find out how he did. Okay, now, I am preparing for a show a little bit later in the summer, and I'm going to be asking you guys for a little help here. I want the top 10 most unusual things that you don't want to miss in Puerto Vallarta. And what I'm really looking for are not the obvious choices like, a walk down the Malecon or strolling through Old Town or checking out the church, the big church or something like that. Look, I'm going to have that show where there's more obvious, best top 10 stuff. But what I'm really looking for is just something more obscure, the little mentioned, kind of unusual, more imaginative suggestion from you guys, okay? So anyway, I think you understand what I'm getting at. Let's see if we can get the top 10 most unusual, don't miss this while you are in Puerto Vallarta list, okay? And anyway, it's going to go something like that. And I'm depending on your help. So let's see if we can put something together. I've never been disappointed by you guys. So send me your suggestions. And you can do that by clicking on the Contact Us tab at the top of my webpage and sending off a message to me. And let's just see what we should tell fellow visitors the top 10 unusual things to do in Puerto Vallarta are. Let's see if we can put that together, okay? Okay. Now, have you ever gotten on the internet and just destroyed a restaurant or a business that maybe did you wrong? Have you ever gone out on Facebook and really, laid into a business on that platform? Well, listen up. Be careful if you're going to be doing this in Mexico. You got to check this article out. It was shared with me by a friend, Trisha, and it's pretty interesting. It's from a publication called the Yucatan Expat Life, and the article was written not too long ago, July 7th, 2017, and it goes like this. Mérida, Yucatan. For the first time in Yucatan, a customer who took a complaint to Facebook was found guilty of defamation. Judge Sumi Lizama Sanchez sided with a swimsuit store who said that her business was harmed because it was disparaged on social media. Now, the customer's bitter complaint over a delayed order went viral. And so the delay, however, it was reportedly beyond the control of the merchant, who actually had offered a refund to the client before this ruinous post went out, which the judge agreed had caused numerous cancellations from other customers. And that cost the company close to 50,000 pesos. The prosecutor does not intervene if a conflict is kept private, but once it's online, the injured party is entitled to demand proof that the comment is warranted, said Lizama Sanchez. In the hearing, the unnamed customer agreed to pay 2,000 pesos compensation and issue a public apology on Facebook. If the settlement had not been reached, the case would have gone to trial with the defendant facing prison time ranging from anywhere from 3 days to 2 years and a fine equivalent of up to 200 days minimum wage. The merchant said that the apology was the most important part of the settlement. Now, you have to be careful, she said, and be responsible on social networks, especially when you share an image of someone who's accused of some situation like robbery, kidnapping, abuse, among other things, the judge warned. So let that be a warning to all of you before you start to spout off on social media, on the face bags and on the tweeters. I don't know if this is going to spill into other review sites like TripAdvisor, right? Or like Yelp. But hey, it sounds like it could be a possibility. So be careful. before you spout off about a company in Mexico. A precedent has been set, it looks like, so we'll see. I have a link to the article in my show notes for episode 28 of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. So be careful, guys. Be careful what you say about other people in Mexico. Okay, let's get on with the show. Now, in my first episode of the show, and at the end of each show, I ask you listeners for suggestions for show topics, and my next guest came from one of your suggestions. My friend Constance from Nanaimo, British Columbia, suggested that I seek out Gabino. Now, Gabino Sandoval is the guy who makes bags and purses from aluminum can pull tops. And you can find him on the Malecon just about every night, where he's got his table set up where he sells his unusual creations. Now, for those of you who have never been to Puerto Vallarta, when I talk about the Malecon, I'm referring to the boardwalk, which in the case of the Malecon in Puerto Vallarta, because remember there are boardwalks in other places in Mexico, in other places in the Bay, right? And they call that the Malecon too. So they have a new Malecon, for example, down in Boca de Tomatlan. They have a Malecon up at the marina. So when we talk about the Malecon in Puerto Vallarta, we're talking about the one that runs from Hotel Rosita on the north end all the way down to kind of like La Palapa on the south end. You'll find out when you run out of sidewalk, okay? But anyway, every night along this Malecon, you're going to find street performers. You're going to find people, singers. You're going to find people dressed like statues with bronze on their faces and, bronze kind of clothing, bronze-looking kind of clothing. They freeze and become statues like banditos. And there's a guy on a bicycle rider. In fact, if you look at some of my pictures, I'm posing with one of these bicycle riders there. They've got that swamp creature from Terminator. I can't remember the name, but anyway, they got that guy. They have a pirate, and he kind of hangs out and he waits to take pictures with people. They have a troupe of actors that puts on a really great show. They put it on for their Spanish-speaking audience because there's a lot of Mexicans in Mexico, right? Imagine that. So there's a lot of Spanish speaking going on. And these guys are just hilarious. They're funny. And even if you don't speak Spanish, you can stand there and watch, and the crowd just roars with laughter, and you kind of roar along with them. They are hilarious. I mean, I understand Spanish, so no biggie for me. I really have a fun time. But even if you don't, these guys put on a great show. And it's like a little amphitheater area that is right in the center of the Malecon area. It's kind of built into the Malecon. And it's right where the Los Arcos are, where the arches are, right on the Malecon. Anyway, that's the Malecon, and that is where it's happening in Puerto Vallarta at night, especially on Sunday nights. You don't want to miss that. Anyway, they have, every night, they have food stands that are set up. They sell all kinds of treats for the locals and for the tourists too, although mostly locals are eating from those stands. The tourists seem to be amused and amazed at what comes out of these stands, and it's really delicious. It's a lot of fun. They've got this guy out, they've got a couple of crepe stands out there. Dessert stands. They've got corn on the cob. They have corn off the cob that they serve in these cups. Just the most interesting items. And fried bananas. They've got like fruit waters. All kinds of places, all kinds of booths that are set up there for people to buy and enjoy. And I have pictures of all these booths in my blog post for this episode. Now, as you walk along the Malecon, you're going to also find artists and people selling their wares, handicraft sellers and such, and that's where you're going to find Gabino. Actually, you need to look really hard to find Gabino because he's not in a really naturally well-lit area. His table is right across from Vitia Oceanfront Bistro, which, by the way, has great food and is also run by the people who run Trio here in Puerto Vallarta, and both fantastic restaurants. Anyway, he is between the two sculptures. He's between the female golfer and the folkloric dancers right there on the Malecon and across from this restaurant. And people walk up to Gabino's table and they do double takes. They need to make sure that they're really seeing what they think they're seeing. And these are handbags and purses and belts and bracelets, all adorned with aluminum can pull tops. And they're incredibly unique, and they look really, really cool. Now, carefully, Gabino explains to the customers who stop at his table the process that he uses to create these purses. He shows them the quality and the time and effort that he puts into each piece that he makes. Gabino, he's cool-headed. He hears everything that people say as they walk by. Many are amazed. Others are amused. And I personally am just flabbergasted at the imagination and the great designs that Gabino has developed. These are brilliant bags, guys. They're beautiful, and they're quite the conversation piece, if you ask me. You can just go to my website to see for yourself at puertovallartatravelshow.com. And so anyway, I asked Gabino if he would do an interview with me so I can introduce him to you. And I invited him to my Airbnb apartment that I was staying at in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood of Old Town Puerto Vallarta. And he came with his wife and his two beautiful children over to my apartment and brought with him a selection of his bags and accessories, all made and adorned with these aluminum pull-tab tops. Now, if you haven't lived in a real Mexican neighborhood, you're really missing the real Mexico, if you ask me. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. When you hear the sounds of roosters crowing and dogs barking and stuff and junk like that, during this interview, you're going to hear all of it. And if you want to see a video of the apartment that I stayed at, Casa Viscardo, I'm going to have a video of the place posted in the show notes for this episode, number 28. So check out my digs in the heart of Puerto Vallarta. And let me know if you don't agree that it's a pretty cool place. I rented it from PV Kid, and we're going to have a conversation with Jeff Musto, the PV Kid, pretty soon. So stay tuned for that one. And I got to tell you right now, you are going to really like Gabino. Gabino took adversity by the horns. He shook it up and down and all around, and he turned it into a success story. He's truly an inspiration, and I can't wait to introduce him to you. So let's go to my apartment in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. All right. Hey, everybody. I am in Puerto Vallarta. I am in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood, so you might hear some roosters crowing. You might hear some trucks coming up and down the street. You never know. But I'm with my friend here, Gabino, and Gabino's last name is...
Sandoval.
Sandoval. And Gabino Sandoval, for those of you who are familiar with Puerto Vallarta and have walked down the Malecon, you've seen his work. He makes
purses made out of pop tops, recycled purses, ecologic purses.
Okay, so these are a real surprise. And when you see them, they're really unique, but they're beautiful. They really are nice. So, anyway, I want to know about you before we get into the conversation about what you make. So, can you maybe tell our listeners a little bit about you? Are you from Puerto Vallarta?
No, not really. I came to Puerto Vallarta a long time ago, actually 19 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I used to live in Zihuatanejo, so I love the ocean. I am from Veracruz, and I born on the mountains where there's no civilization. And I love my town, but my family decided, and my grandfather, that he used to go to visit the family to Veracruz. He wanted me to study. So I moved from Veracruz to Zihuatanejo. And I used to live there for like 6 years in Zihuatanejo.
Okay, so you went from the east coast of Mexico to the west coast of Mexico,
Yes.
which brought you much closer to Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how did you make it to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, it's a very slow season in Puerto Vallarta, so I hear some friends that is a paradise. It's a beautiful place. It calls Puerto Vallarta, so I moved to Puerto Vallarta for new life.
Right, you wanted to find paradise.
Yes.
What's with that? Come on, Gabino, why would you want to do that? That's a great idea. Who doesn't want to move to paradise? So, okay, so where did you come up with this idea to make these items using bull tops?
Well, it's a long story, but I had an accident driving a motorcycle, and I broke my leg. So my life changed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was hard for me to get a job in a hotel or restaurant because I limp. I had a bad accident, and so
Hey, let that be a lesson to all you motorcycle riders. Look out, man. Keep off those bikes. You mothers out there, watch out. All right,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's
Gabino.
dangerous.
I had to throw that in there. Go ahead.
it's dangerous. So I have some friends that they used to work on the beach selling the fish and the stick and selling fruit on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care if I limp or if I don't, they just want people to work there. So I decided to start working on the beach. So, and it worked for me because the sand is like a therapy for my leg.
Yeah, sure.
So, and it works. And then I met a guy who used to, maybe a lot of people, they know him. His name is Chuy. He used to make purses out of paper, out of candy wrappers, out of magazines, and he wanted me to help. He helped him to make the purses, and I learned very fast. So, and I started making these purses also with my own designs. And after that, like 2-3 years, I saw a girl from Brazil that he had a purse made with the pop tops, and I asked her about the purse, and she showed me the purse. She showed me the purse, and it was very simple for me to make these purses that they make in Brazil also.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm making my own design. So it was very slow season, and people, they know my work, the purses that I used to make, like candy wrappers. So I started making a new designs, new purses with the pop top. But I used to make purses with magazines and candy wrappers. So I started making these purses, and people loved them. And then I started making more and more, and every year, new designs. So I used to collect the purses, the pop tops. I used to collect the pop tops by myself, and I started telling people save the pop tops for me.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are collecting the empty soda cans, I tell them separate, and you get an extra money for the tabs. And then I give the money to the people who collect the tabs for me also.
Good. All right. So you put other people to work.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're able to get the material you need.
It's better for me because if we work in a team, the work is more easy.
Sure.
And everybody happy.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're doing everything, right?
Yeah.
You're delegating, my friend. This is good. This is the way to do it. All right. So how long have you been making these purses?
When Diego born, he's 13 years. Yeah, around 13 years making these purses. But I used to sell fruit on the beach and the fish on the stick. That's what I used to.
Right. Yeah. Well, you did that before. But you've been making these purses for 13 years.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got a business that people know about and obviously know where to find you, which is pretty cool. All right. So we figured out where you found this out, where you figured out how to make this. You said it came from Brazil, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so tell us about the process that you go through to make the bags. I mean, what other material do you use?
Okay, the first step is you have to tell them to the people to separate the pop tarts from the can. That's the first step, and then I wash the pop tarts very clean with water, and I design the purse. I have the idea in my mind, and we use needles. We also do purses with the crochet, and they're like building a house. It's very simple. Well, for me,
I was going to say there's nothing simple about these purses.
It's very simple.
They look so complicated.
Yeah,
but
it looks complicated.
Beautiful.
It just takes time. Takes time. But I am a spiritual person, so I pray. I ask God for inspiration, and I have dreams. I dream a lot because I sleep a lot sometimes. So I have dreams, and that's my inspiration. And to make a purse takes time. You have to be patient. You have to have the gift. You have to love what you do. I think that's the secret, and it is. How can I explain? Well, yeah, like building a house, like connecting one piece with the other. I use like 3 pieces: the body of the purse, the bottom. I connect the bottom with the body of the purse, and at the end, I do the handle. And the ending is doing the lining and the zipper. Right now, I'm doing the lining with pockables inside because people love to have pockets inside. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
That's a kind of a new addition to your design.
Yeah, and I do colors, the lining. People that are been asking sometimes. I usually use black lining, but now I use in like burgundy, like clear color, so they can look inside.
Okay, so you're talking about on the inside, the lining is the inside. The outside is black. I mean, that's really so that you get that nice contrast, right?
Yeah.
With the silver against the black.
And the black. But people that have been asking for colors, so I make.
Yeah, what's with that?
Well, people love. They have their favorite color. Like my wife's favorite color is azul, and I call one of my daughters. Well, the youngest one, I call it azul. And people
blue,
they
for all
say,
of you non-speakers of Spanish. Okay.
Azul, blue. Yeah. So people they want like custom made purses.
Right. Of course they do.
Yeah, and we do what people like, what people love, their own designs, their own. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these purses take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so these people that want that special design, let's say they come to you and say, I would like that, and they don't really have that time. Do you ever mail stuff to people?
No, but, well, I have to.
Maybe think about that. You never know, right?
That's a good idea.
Maybe work on that idea for you. But Of course, when that happens, then you start getting these special orders, and maybe you'll get distracted from what your really main thrust is, and that is to keep things rolling, right?
No, really, I love to do. Actually, a lot of my customers, they like 50% of my customers, they want custom-made purses.
Okay, so are these locals?
No, they're
visitors.
Visitors, yeah.
Okay, so how fast can you do a custom-made purse?
In a couple days, 1 or 2 days. Sometimes they want many. One of these customers that I have, she buy like 10 purses to donate for a organization for
some charity.
Yeah, some charity. Or some other they own a boutique, or they own a place, and they resell.
Okay, well, good. So that's a good question. So do you have places around town where there are boutiques that they sell, or, I mean, isn't that competition for you on the beach?
I have a place at Vecilio Vadillo. It's a boutique. They have a nice displays. If you want to look at it at that boutique, the name is Carol's Boutique at Vecilio Vadillo.
Okay.
And this Wendy and Carol, they have a nice display. So then if I don't have all the designs, you can look at it, and they have a really nice display with my purses.
Okay, so that's a good tip for you guys. If you want to see what his purses look like, and let's just say you're not walking around on the Malecon in the middle of the night, which is when he's there.
Yeah,
it's not
usually,
the middle of the night. What are the hours over there?
I'm around 4 after 4
After
p.m.
4, and then you're there till what, like 9 or 10 o'clock?
11 p.m.
11? Oh,
yeah.
No, you'd put on a full day.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, if you're not out there in that time, and you're walking down Basilio Badillo, and you just walk into Carol's, is that what we said?
Carol's Boutique.
Carol's Boutique, and you can see his work right there. Now, you make things other than purses. You make accessories, bracelets. What other things do you make?
I do, beside purses, I make also bracelets. I use elastic for the bracelets. And I make belts also. And when people, they want like a backpack or anything else, we made a vest for a guy, for a man he's a yoga teacher. We made a vest for him, and we made dresses.
You've made dresses out of pull tops.
Yeah, and
wow.
We made a punta de mita. We also make a roof for a bar and a veneros, like 4 by 5 meters.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was a big project, and we made it last year, and it takes like 2 months and 100,000 bottle caps that we make. Yeah.
Oh wow! I'm just surprised that there's any left in the city after you got done with that one. That's incredible. Do you work with? Do you employ your family in this business?
Yeah,
Because you're here with your son and your
Diego.
daughter and your lovely wife.
Thank you.
Wow. So, tell us how you employ your family here.
We had like a big family, like Mexican. We got big families.
Yeah, I know how you guys are.
So there are like 10 in my family, but we also the neighborhoods, the family, the friends that they live around. We show them how to make them, and they help also, and they get money for helping.
Oh wow! Okay, so you actually not only employ your family, but you employ your neighbors.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is quite a undertaking then. So you're like the manager, right? And you've got others doing things for you. And I know that you do this work too, because I've seen you on the Malecon doing it by hand.
I love to design.
Yeah. Wow. So in a way, not only do you have your family depending on you, but you've got other families depending on you.
Yeah, and the people who collect the pop tops, a lot of people, they came to me and they recycle the pop tops, and they get money also for the pop tops. And we also save the planet.
You're out there saving the planet, all right. Good for you.
A little bit. We do a little bit.
Well, hey, come on. That's all good news. All right. So the pressure is on for you there a little bit, right? Because people are depending on you.
Yeah.
Right. Do you sell all year round on the Malecon, or do you take some time off when it's vacation time for for the tourists? Are you there all the time?
I'm usually, like pretty much every day. But when we wanna take a day off, we just take a day off, and we have we take like a week for vacation during the year, or when it's vacation, we take during the day. We take day off, not the day off. I mean, we take the day for going to the beach. Like tomorrow, we're going to the beach.
Good.
So we don't work tomorrow.
It's pretty funny. Here's a guy saying, I'm going to the beach. Where are you going to work? I'm going to the beach. Where are you going to go to have a little time off? I'm going to the beach. Good for you, man. This business that you have here, it just seems to me like, you should have like an online store or something like that. That you should have like a little bit of a presence online and sell these things to the world, Have you thought of that?
Yeah, a lot of people there are asking me about it. And there are a lot of things that we have to do, and we already start doing it. So, and in a year and a few more months, we will have it. We have the name, we have the government, what they want, the papers. Mm-hmm. We are in process.
Really? Good.
Yeah,
okay, so this is not just an idea of mine. You've already had this idea.
Yes.
Oh, darn it. I thought maybe I had something original here. All right, so let's see here. We talked about the fact that you do special orders, which is great. Do you have something that you'd like to add?
I would like to say that the most important for me is the family and your relationship with God. That's something that I want to say, because it's a gift. The happiness is a gift to do what you love to do. That's the secret of happiness.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
If your work is something that you love, then you are doing it right.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. We're going to talk about how to find you once again. But before that, I want to talk to you a little bit about, just maybe some tips that you might give to someone who's visiting Vallarta, because you've been here for so many years. What, besides actually coming to see you and buying a purse from you, what would you say to a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta that they should not miss, or that they should make sure that they do?
Well, they have to enjoy the moment. I tell them, when somebody came, I tell them this is a gift of God, that you're here. This is a paradise, and I know how do you feel, because it has something magic. This town. When I came here the first time, I say to myself, I want to live here for the rest of my life. I have that feeling. And I've been here for almost 20 years with nothing. I came with my hands empty, and I got a family. I got 3 kids, and I be grandpa in a few more months. So people that they came here for the first time, they have to enjoy this moment, like the present. And for sure they're gonna come back, because this is a magic town. The people there are so friendly, so don't be scared. Don't feel the freedom, be happy. That's what they have to know, that this is a paradise.
That's great advice. I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's talk about eating and food. Do you have any favorites that you like to go eat at? Maybe you can kind of give me, I don't know if you're a breakfast eater or not. I know you do a lot of eating at home, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
all do, right? Especially breakfast, because that's easy, right? You usually don't run off and eat breakfast. You usually eat it at home. But you have any that you can think of that you like?
Yeah, I like tacos, like Mexicans, but I want to recommend a place that it calls Adobes.
Yes.
Adobes, he's my friend, but he owns this restaurant for like 2 years, and this guy he used to work for Le Bistro, River Cafe, No Way Jose. So he's a chef, and now he opened his own restaurant, and they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a good place. I don't remember the street.
It's Adobe's. I don't remember the street either, but if you know where Bravo's is, it's right
Yeah.
next door to Bravo's.
Yeah, you know the place.
Of course I do. I had lunch there the other day.
Wow.
They serve comida corrida, so it's inexpensive, and the food is it's the greatest. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. I'm going to talk to him. Hopefully, he'll talk to me. All right, that's a great choice.
And I know another place. It calls Vegetalia. Vegetalia I love the desserts at the Vegetalia and the beer also.
Where's Vegetalia? Where is that
Vegetalia
located?
is between Guerrero and Juarez Street, from the statue of this guy, the statue of the upstairs that it looks. I don't remember the street. Aldama.
Okay.
Aldama Street. Yeah,
Okay.
between Juarez and Morelos. Vegetalia. Yeah.
Okay, that's a vegetarian food place. Yes.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah. That's like just as it's right up above Hidalgo, right?
Yes,
Not
Hidalgo.
too far from the church. And I know I know exactly where you're talking. Yes. Yeah, that's a great place. Any others that you like?
We love any taco stand.
Yeah.
And Puerto Vallarta.
You got a favorite?
We go the taco stand next to the drugstore, Guadalajara.
Oh, yeah.
The Farmacia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like 3 or 4 taco stands
Yes.
lined up there.
Yeah, you can go there no matter which one. They're all good.
They are. And don't be afraid, you guys, to go and have street food here in Puerto Vallarta. It's safe, and they've got great restaurants here, but that street food is real Mexico.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to try.
It is. Yes, you do. Well, all right then. How is it that our audience can get a hold of you? Where is your place?
It's
It's like right near Vieta, right?
Vitea.
Yeah, Vitea. Thank you.
Vitea.
Okay, so the restaurant Vitea, not too far from the golfer statue, right? The female
yeah,
golfer.
next to
Okay, so
the
that's
dancers also.
and the dancer. So he's between the dancers and the golfer, and that's where you're going to find his place. And then I'm going to have pictures of his purses and of his accessories. They'll all be on my blog post for this particular episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show, and you can find that at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And I'll have photos of that. I'll throw pictures of him, him, Gabino, and his family, and just I've got a picture of where he's at, so I'll make sure I pop that on there as well.
Thank you.
And then when you get your online store going, Gabino, I'll give everybody an update, and I will also put a link on my website so that you will find that. And when that happens, you guys, you'll be able to find that on my links page on PuertoVallartaTravelShow.com. Gabino, I want to thank you very much for coming
Gracias.
and taking
Thank
the
you.
time to talk with me, with your beautiful family. And I'll see you again soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, well, that was Gabino. What a great story. I have pictures of him and his family and his unusual purses and bags on my website in the show notes for this episode, along with the prices of the different items too. So When he does get that online store up and running, though, you are all going to be first to know. I'll make sure that I make the announcement on the show, and I'll be able to send you to his online store. And until that time, though, you're going to need to get down to his spot on the Malecon and buy a beautiful bag to bring home. You're gonna have a conversation piece, as well as, well, you'll be saving the planet in a small way too. And when you do see Gabino, tell him that you heard his story on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. He'll get a real kick out of that. And by all means, make sure you buy something from him too, okay? The bags are beautiful, and they're not expensive. So check it out. Now, you'll be able to locate his table also by going to my website, look at my show notes, and I'll have a map for you that will show you exactly where to find him. Okay, well, that should do it for this week's episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant, and excursion ideas as well. So until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something like my friend did, you should be telling me about it, right? Reach out to me. Click on the Contact Us tab and send us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and his on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying, thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to be using someone else, so just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences, and maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give a good review to me on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Now remember, I made it easy for you to do that with each episode. So if you haven't been to my website, you really need to go there, have a look at it. I have links to all the places that we talk about. I have interesting pictures and, well, even more. All right there on my blog posts, in my show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't done so already, all right? All right. And anyway, thanks to Gabino Sandoval, the pull tab purse maker. I have all the contact information in my show notes of this episode at PuertoVallartaTravelShow.com, episode 28. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler, signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brilla cumbias Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta.